Welcome to Recover and Ready. It's time to talk versus system 2PCG. I'm Matt, and today we're bringing you Let's Try Liu Kang from the Mortal Kombat box. But before we get started, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. It really helps spread the joy of versus system 2PCG. So let's talk Liu Kang from the Mortal Kombat box. Liu Kang is an Earthrealm affiliated main character. At level 1, he starts out as a 4-4 with range and 5 health. His first ability, Dodge, makes it so he can't be ranged attacked. Martial Artist, his second ability, gives him plus 2/2 in melee combat. And to level up, he has to use It Is Your Destiny. When Raiden appears on your side, remove him from the game, and Liu Kang gains 1 XP. The payoff for seeing Liu Kang level up is seeing him turn into Liu Kang, aka Raiden. The payoff for seeing him level up turns him into Fire God Liu Kang, aka Liu Kang Raiden. He becomes a 12-12 with flight and range, gets Master Martial Artist, plus 4/4 in melee combat, air superiority, characters with flight cannot strike him, and Thunder God. Anytime combat, flip a yellow, wound an enemy character in the combat without flight. Additionally, his health goes up to 7. Now that we've seen both levels, let's take a moment to review what's going on here. At level 1, his dodge and his martial artist ability together basically give your opponent no choice but to face him in Mortal Kombat. If they want to start stacking wounds on him, they're going to have to bring their main character to the front row right up from the start, or they're going to have to play in some baller supporting characters right out the gate in order to even be able to wound him, because that 6 toughness, or 6 defense I should say, at level 1 is no joke, and 6 attack means that every turn, if you're not protecting your main, he's going to be stacking wounds. Now the trick here is that we have to see Raiden in order to level up, which means we're not going to level up until we get 8 resources out on the board. Whether we get them early through something like TVA, or whether we just go the old school route and turns 1 through 8. So basically we got to be satisfied with our level 1 stats plus any counters that we may have until we can get that Raiden, sacrifice him, and become Fire God Liu Kang. If we've made it to this point, Liu Kang is going to totally take over the game. He's a beater, he's got flight, he's got range, he can protect guys that are in the back. His air superiority means that he's extremely hard to deal with. And if your opponent's guys don't happen to have flight, then that yellow Thunder God ability that can just instantly put a wound on any enemy character in the combat with him without flight basically takes care of the rest. This guy is a house at level 2 and definitely worth waiting till you get until 8 resources. Before we move on to the list, let's talk goals for this Let's Try Liu Kang video. First, I'm here to share deck building ideas. I'm not trying to give you guys a meta read or show you this is the best version of Liu Kang ever. No, I'm just putting my ideas out there. What are some of the things that I think are core to building Liu Kang? And I want to help new players out as best I can. Secondly, I want to find out what cards you guys would play with Liu Kang. First, if you're playing a Liu Kang deck, what are some of your favorites that you might not see here in this list? Secondly, if you're playing against Liu Kang, what main characters do you think are effective, or what tech cards do you think are good against him? All in all, I'm hoping that this video helps give the community a friendly space to talk about Liu Kang. Next, where do we play Liu Kang? I'm going to start out by trying Liu Kang at locals and in casuals and see how it goes. I've played against this character, he is very powerful. This deck is legal in Multiverse and Modern, but disclaimer, I'm just trying him out, hoping to present some ideas, and hoping that from there you guys take anything that you might like and tune it for competitive play or tune it for casual play in order to suit your environment. So let's get to the deck, starting with my 1s and 2s. These are basically my utility characters. I thought it'd be really cool to start stacking counters on Liu Kang right out the gate with stuff like Killian and Grandmaster. Since he might take a minute to get to level 2, these guys really help him stay a potent threat until he gets there. Also, if you can use that Mobius either on turn 1 with his TVA personnel or just natural on turn 2 to drag your opponent's main character up to the front, they're going to be facing some hard beatdown. At 3, we get a couple guys that help you take care of your opponent's pesky threats. Kung Lao's a nice beater that's on team that can get to your opponent's back row with ease to take out their utility guys. We all know how hateful Mordo is when you drop him, and also especially if you can protect him. And as we all know, it's hard not to play Quicksilver on 4. This guy strikes for 14 in melee combat before anyone else. He's got 2 health, and he's just one of the best beaters in the game. As we move on to 5, Vision's a solid beater himself who can come in, hitting for 12 and blocking for 12 the first turn cycle that he's out. Additionally, he performs the role of protecting our back row utility guys that we already talked about. I'm excited to try out Kotal Khan. He's on team, he's got God Ray, he can use a green to wound an enemy supporting character and heal a wound off himself. This helps you to deal with back row characters that you might not be able to get to, but also it's great for putting wounds on guys that are either just too big or too challenging to get to because of some of their abilities. For example, stacking a wound on Ego, or on Quicksilver, or anything of that nature. On 6, I think that Bucky Barnes is a pretty sweet option. Obviously, he can team attack with characters on other teams, but particularly in this case, with his range means that he can team attack with Liu Kang from the back or from the front in melee combat. His lethal helps you get through hard to get through threats, and of course, he's going to be drawing you a bunch of cards. Ego continues to be a hard to deal with threat, so we're playing him on 7 to gum up the board to stack wounds on our opponent. And of course, on 8, Raiden's going to help Liu Kang transform into Fire God. And of course from there, any extra Raidens that we draw become a potent threat. His air superiority helps him really tangle with a lot of important late game characters, and his Thunder God ability, which he can use in combat by flipping a yellow to wound an enemy character in the combat that does not have flight. This can help you once again stack extra wounds on guys that may be hard to get through otherwise, and in combination with Kotal Khan's ability, you might see yourself hitting a Thanos and KOing him right out the gates by flipping a green on Kotal Khan, a yellow from Raiden, and then putting the wound on him through the natural strike. Let's go to the plot twists, starting with Flawless Victory. Flawless Victory is going to make it dangerous for your opponent to attack into your main character during the first couple turns of the game, and from there, any supporting character that you present that is not wounded is going to become high risk for your opponent to attack into. And when you're on the attack, I'm going to say that this card seems really cool because your opponent might be baited into playing a plot twist to move some of the stats around or something in the combat, but ultimately, boom, you flawless victory them, you ruin their day. Next up, we have Finish Him, where you can KO a wounded enemy supporting character. This is really good in the late game, where you start to see guys that have 2 and 3 wounds on them respectively. This combines also really well with Raiden's ability and with Kotal Khan's ability, where your opponent might play something that has a ton of health, but boom, you hit them once and they're out. And since we're playing a healthy amount of MCU characters in the deck, we're going to be playing He's a Friend from Work, so we can cancel the combat when necessary, or make our guy a little bit bigger to swing things in our favor. Next up is the locations, and let's start off by talking about the Time Variance Authority, which I think is probably the way to go if you're doing a competitive build of Liu Kang, so that you can get to your level 2 as fast as possible. So that said, what are we playing here? We got Special Forces Desert Commando, Fortress, Sokovia, and Academy. Special Forces is going to basically help us out with all the Mortal Kombat characters in the deck. Liu Kang and Raiden are going to be using this along with the Academy for their abilities, and Kotal Khan is going to be using Special Forces along with Fortress for his ability. And of course, we got Fortress and Sokovia supporting Killian's ability to get Liu Kang jacked right out the gates. And outside the scope of this list, here's a few additional ideas or considerations that you might consider for Liu Kang. I already mentioned Time Variance Authority. If you're trying to go competitive, this is probably going to be in your deck so you can get leveled up really fast. I think that using a lot of Mortal Kombat characters, especially such as Baraka and other early beaters, could be really good for a Liu Kang build. And that Liu Kang 7-drop is looking pretty fine, and so using Alter Ego in the deck and maybe considering playing Liu Kang himself on 7 might not be bad as well. Something to try out. Here are the sets that I used to build this deck. That said, if you don't have all these sets or want to explore other options, don't worry. There's loads of great ways to build around this main character. And last of all, I hope this video has given you some ideas on how to have some fun with Liu Kang. Thanks for making it this far. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Recover and Ready. Make sure to share Versus System with your friends and have some fun.